Hello! I hope you're having a good day and a decent Season 11 so far. It's been a while. But anyway, this video will be a full coaching session of a Silver Ashe player, and I think it covers a ton of concepts and ideas that will be useful for players all the way to around a mid-diamond level. Please also feel free to join my Discord server with the link in the description, where you can find a great community along with info on how to message me and book coaching if you are interested. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Okay, so the first thing I always ask everyone is, what are your goals with League of Legends?
I honestly just want to be an all-around good player. I specifically play ADC and support, but my goal is to just reach Diamond in eventuality. But for this season, specifically at the very minimum, Plat. Last season, I finally broke into Gold. I got Gold 4, and I stopped. I got scared. So I was like, all right, I'm not going any further than this. I'm stopping. So I just want to keep making sure I have progression throughout the years.
Okay, sounds good. So Platinum is your goal for this season?
Yes.
And your overall goal is you want to reach Diamond?
Yes, and just park it there.
Okay, sounds good. So let's have a quick look at this. Season 2020. So, hold up. Is Season 2020 season 10?
I think that's season 10.
It is season 10.
Yeah,
So you
I didn't play
Season 9?
No, I was so on and off. Like I think I started at like season, I don't know, like 5 or 6 or something like that. And then like, cause my friends, I was a big WoWer.
Yeah.
And my friends talked me into playing it, and then all of a sudden, I started getting into it.
Yeah.
Then I really sucked at it. Then I quit, and then I got raged. Like how it goes. You're on and off, and then now it's kind of like I'm back into it.
Okay, excellent. So obviously a lot of Ashe being played this season so far.
So the reason for that is because I figured I need to play like a very dummied down character to where I can work on mechanics a little bit more later. Even though I feel like my mechanics might be okay, it's just I know it's my team fighting position that's really crap. And so a lot of my high elo friends tell me, dude, just play like simple champions like Ashe. So I was like, all right. So I just spam Ashe.
So my point with this is a bit different to a lot of other people you'll see who make videos and stuff. But in my experience, with me and with almost everyone I've ever coached, is even though if you get a robot, right? Not a robot. Right. If you get a completely blank slate of a human being with zero personality, right? Technically, the best way for them to improve probably would be to put them on Ashe and make them play 1,000 games. They'd probably improve the most compared to another ADC. Technically. Okay. But playing something that you enjoy or you think is cool, apart from like, there are certain exceptions, like you really don't want to put a silver player on like a Kali that much. Right. But like, playing something you enjoy within reason will generally give much better results, because enjoying the process just makes a massive, massive difference. Because it's like, for example, one of my champions that I played loads of when I was climbing through Plat, through like silver to Plat, was Lucian, which technically probably wasn't the easiest or the champ that translates its skill over to the other AD carries, but because I found him so cool, getting that rewarding feeling, it made a big difference.
So funny, because that's actually what I started with. Lucian was like my dude,
Oh, nice.
But I think at the time, at that season, it was just like ADCs were just so crappy that he wasn't even used as a mid laner yet.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, he was just really... And so all my buddies, again, were like, yeah, dude, you got to use someone with a higher range and so on and so forth. But, I haven't played Lucian in a good minute. So, I mean, I'm down. I'm down for whatever, honestly.
So, I mean, my advice would be, like, what you want to do is, the most important thing, more than the champion, is playing someone that you can get a lot of games in and feel fine getting those games in and you're enjoying it. Because, like, technically, as we said, maybe Ashe would be the best. But if after playing 50 games of Ashe, you're like, oh, I really kind of want something else, you know,
Right.
then you're just gonna end up switching. But if potentially, let's say, if you were playing Lucian and Ashe secondary, maybe you'd be able to stick with that combo and enjoy it for like 200, 300 games, which is extremely helpful and useful.
Okay.
So I would say, definitely. I mean, maybe Ashe is that champ for you. I don't know. I don't know you, but definitely play something you enjoy is probably the first priority with finding a champ pool, I would say.
You know what's so weird? It's gonna sound so funny, but I actually enjoy playing Vayne, but that might be not so good for me in my elo.
Here's my Vayne my Vayne, what should I call this? Memo. Right, so with Vayne, she is number one, not quite as hard as people make her out to be.
Right, I don't think so either.
But the thing she is that most lower elo players don't understand, is she's extremely situational, and most low elo players have an extremely different idea of what Vayne is good at than the reality is. So when I was, let's say, gold, and I'd say my mechanics were one of my stronger suits. I would like see a game, and like the enemy team would have a lot of like flashy outplay champs, right? Like they'd have Zed or stuff like that, and I'd be like, oh, Vayne's probably pretty good here because I can like maybe like evade death and outplay it.
Right.
But in reality, those are like some of the worst games for Vayne. The times you want to play Vayne is when they have a lot of bruises and a lot of tanks.
And that's what I do. That's exactly what I do. So whenever I know that there's like 2 or 3 tanks that like I know I could kite with Vayne, or like, you know, going against like freaking Garen or something like that, you know.
Perfect, yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I do. But I typically try to just spam Ashe, Tristana, and Jinx. Which I do enjoy. I do enjoy Jinx more than Ashe, but I think Ashe is starting to grow into me. So she'd be like my secondary. If I really want to put number 1, it would be Jinx. But I just feel like her mobility is not as good unless she gets a kill.
Yes, for sure. So, okay. Those are completely cool champs, by the way. Pretty good. And a lot of the stuff carries over between them a little bit, which is quite useful. For example, lethal tempo. They're both lethal tempo users, and they don't have a dash directly. So
right. And I would play Lucian at a time also, but I just feel like Lucian falls off later in the game, unless I know I could. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong in thinking of this, but it also depends on my AD or my support too. Because if I play like a Lucian, and I have a support that's not necessarily like an all-in support, then it doesn't make me feel confident that we need to, you know, conquer.
That's actually another misconception with Lucian. He does work pretty well with engaged supports, but some of his best synergies are actually with enchanter supports.
Oh wow! Okay.
Like he's really good with Janna and with Nami, for example.
Oh,
Lulu's okay, but for example, especially something like Janna and Nami, he's really good with. He's alright with Soraka as well, because you need to play in a different way, and you need to like understand that you need to be the one doing stuff, and you're getting buffed up. Because Lucian works really well when he's buffed up, because he can afford to actually go in on people in the 2v2.
Okay.
And like you'll see this combo all the time where, let's say the enemy bot lane is, I don't know, Kai'Sa and some engage Nautilus or something. I mean, maybe not. That's a bit too strong of an example, but let's just run with it, right? And you have a Nami. Like the Nautilus tries to engage on your Nami, and as long as the Nami puts like one spell on you, and you just go straight on the enemy AD carry, they have a choice of either focusing the Nami or
going back to me,
or fighting you, but then you win that trade anyway.
Right. So just because he's he's like the best early champion for sure.
Exactly. He's very, very good early. It's like the only people that will beat him in trades early is pretty much Draven, Kai'Sa if she hits the W only, and gets isolated Q, and potentially sometimes Trist, but pretty much he actually beats Trist. He's pretty good into Trist. So
so like lately, I know the Kai'Sa has been the meta right now. And Ashe feels good against Kai'Sa. I don't know if that's just me.
Yeah, Ash is right into Kai'Sa. Ash is fine into
So
Kai'Sa.
I guess one of the things I need to learn too is the counters.
Well, actually,
With the pool
with
that I have.
counters, it's really not worth thinking about ADC countering ADC.
Okay.
The only thing you should think about when picking your ADC is how it works into the rest of the team and
Ah.
how
Okay.
it works with your support. For example, right? This is a perfect example that will probably make sense to you. If you have a Nautilus support already and the enemy AD carry is Caitlyn, right?
Yep.
Technically, Ashe is a Caitlyn counter. That's what people say. But you'll have a way higher chance of winning the game and winning the lane if you pick Kai'Sa with the Nautilus.
Really?
Because it's just so much of a better lane. If Nautilus ever hits anything, you almost every time kill.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And it's like,
I see.
and Ashe's synergy, even though technically you could say it counters the Caitlyn with Nautilus, is nowhere near as good. So pick your champ based on your synergy with your team and countering to the other team. It's like another thing where it's like the enemy bot lane is, let's go with MF, right?
Okay.
Technically, MF is good into Vayne, but if the enemy team has Garen mid and Darius top, Vayne will still give you the highest chance of winning the game.
Right. Oh, I see.
Yeah. Same thing with like if the enemy bot lane is low range and they don't even have engage, you're like, oh, Caitlyn would win me lane so hard, but then the enemy team has a Rammus and like an assassin mid, and it's like I just won't deal. Even if I get 1,000 gold lead, I'm not gonna do damage to this Rammus. There's no point in picking this Caitlyn. So that's something that I definitely think you should think about. Pick ADC based on.
Gotcha.
Because that's something that ADCs always mix up in their head is they see especially like mid laners and top laners where it's like, oh, this guy countered me. Now the game's going to be so hard, but it really isn't the same with AD carry because like the support ADC synergy always way outweighs the technically ADC matchup. The ADC matchup almost always ends up being irrelevant, and it's just based on the support synergy and team synergy.
Right.
So final points with champ pool is if you want to have Vayne in your champ pool, definitely do it and pick her situationally when it's really good games for Vayne.
Okay,
So,
good to know.
I would say have 3 champs max in the pool. Vayne, situational, and pick 2 champs you enjoy, and then that's your pool. Perfect.
Okay.
That's what I would recommend, and just try it. And if you can stick with that for the whole season, you'll be in a fantastic spot.
Okay, perfect.
As far as builds, your builds look pretty fine. You're buying some control wards, not many, but I can't really comment on that until I actually see. Generally, this is the build on Ashe you want to go. I would say in most cases... Right, so this is a really weird item here. The Mortal Reminder. What healing are you reducing?
Oh, okay. That one I kind of trolled on that one. I didn't realize I freaking bought... Oh, no, I'm sorry. Yeah, on that one, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Yeah, I shouldn't have even picked that.
Yeah, you're buying this way too much. And also here, like, what healing are you reducing here?
Illaoi is the one I was thinking of for that one.
That was in your team.
Oh, I'm sorry. Garen and Alistar, but is that pointless?
It's so small that it's pretty much irrelevant because what ends up happening is like you'd be halfway to an IE and then there'll be a point in this game if the game went on where you would, if you went Mortal Reminder, you'd have Mortal Reminder plus like a crit cloak or plus a pickaxe. But if you went IE, you'd have a full IE, and you'd literally be doing like 50% more damage with that IE instead of with the Mortal Reminder. And here, for example, it's not bad. What are you going to build out of this pickaxe?
So at first I was looking at on that game, that's the one that we have, right? I was thinking I was going to go with Gale Force first.
Right.
Instead of Kraken. because I was trying to escape. Because there's assassins all over the place, and then people that could kind of go in. And then I realized that our team is kind of lacking at the moment, so I need raw damage. So then I went Kraken Slayer on that.
Okay.
And the pickaxe, I think, was just the last buy because that's the money left that I had, and we were about to lose, so it was like a last buy.
Absolutely fine. Okay, so
yeah,
with the Mortal Reminder, it's a good item, right? But almost all the time, let's say 70% of the time, when you buy it, you want to just buy the Executioners, and then you want to get your IE, and then you want to finish it.
I see. Okay.
The times where you do want to finish the Mortal Reminder on Ash, third, and sometimes second, by the way.
Okay.
Sometimes you go instead of the Runons, and it's correct.
Soraka, right?
Soraka is you can do that, even though most of the time I end up opting for the Executioners and then the Runons against Soraka. Okay. Because if you read the buff you actually get from the Mortal Reminder, right? So it's Executioners, 40% Grievous Wounds from physical damage. Great.
Okay.
What's the difference in the Mortal Reminder? 40% Grievous Wounds for 3 seconds, and dealing 3 consecutive attacks enhances this effect. Okay? So, the people this is especially good against is, for example, the enemy has a fed Olaf. This is what you want to do. If Olaf is the threat on the enemy team that you need to burst through, you know for a fact you're going to be attacking this guy more than 3 times. And then you get the 60% healing reduction, and then this item value goes through the roof. Same with something like an Illaoi or anything that just runs into you and heals that's a disaster like that. Darius, a fed Darius.
Yeah.
And if it's like all or nothing, this is that one carry. And this is the guy that's just 1v9ing the game. Then you get the Mortal Reminder second. And then...
You know what's crazy is this is the a point where I am definitely weak at is the understanding the items that I'm actually buying, because what I do is I go through Blitz app and it automatically just does it for me, and then my buddies in the higher elos would always tell me, dude, you're not learning anything off that because you're an autopilot on that.
Yeah.
And you don't, yeah, and it's true, absolutely true. And even like when I was playing like Pike and stuff like that just for fun, like I didn't understand what and with Tristana, like Halo Blades, what it actually did. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was like, oh crap. And so, so it's still a huge learning point for me for sure. But definitely that's something I need to make note of, to where I need to start reading and understanding it better to use it to my matchups.
Yeah, so Executioners is the biggest thing I'm seeing you with, because
IE instead of it.
Once you play, it doesn't even need to be IE every time. Like sometimes it could even be a different item that you actually need, like Mercurial or something.
Oh.
But most of the time, Mercurial and Mortal Reminder have the same philosophy, where 80% of the time, when you need that item, what you actually need is just the component. You get what I'm saying? So 80% of the time, when you think you need Mortal Reminder, all you need is the Executioners, and then you want to build your next item. And not complete it. 80% of the time, plus, even, with Mercurial, all you actually need is the QSS, and then you want to move on to your next item and finish it later. Because you don't actually get that much for completing it.
I see. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
I'm not going to dwell on it too much, because I think you'll slowly start to understand it more, because once you start like just doing this and then getting the IE, you'll feel the power difference, and then you'll start to understand like, okay, it's definitely better just to get the Executioners here, and then sometimes you'll be like, oh, this is just the fed Olaf or the fed Renekton, and here's the only carry threat, so I'm just going to go ahead and finish the Mortal Reminder.
Okay, that makes sense.
Alright, so let's get into this game. So you're playing Ashe, Rel against Nautilus. See, this is a great lane, Nautilus Kai'Sa. So it's like this is one of those things, like if you're a Kai'Sa player, the AD carry matchup is pretty much irrelevant, because if you see that Nautilus, you're just going to be like, hell yeah, Kai'Sa's going to be good. Almost definitely Kai'Sa's going to be good. Even if you might get poked, hopefully you won't actually walk into the poke, but you know what I mean. Even if it's a rough lane in some aspects, as soon as you get one opportunity, you'll get the kill. So you just lock that in, regardless of the ADC matchup.
Okay.
Alright, so starting with the Doran's Blade, perfect. It's very rare these days that you want to start Doran's Shield.
Yeah.
Um,
Unless maybe you're Vayne into something. I don't know. Oh, one thing I was gonna say too. Having a support Yumi, I don't know why, but it really ticks me off. Like, I just don't like having a support playing Yumi.
it is weird. It is weird, but you have
Cause
to.
it's like I have to dodge everything like
Yeah.
myself instead of putting pressure on the support, you know.
Well, that's the
And so,
thing with the champs you're playing right now. None of them have dashes, which makes playing with Yumi very
but
difficult.
you see, so whenever I'm playing with a Yumi, I play a Vayne or a Lucian or one of those.
Yeah, Lucian's good with Yumi.
So I mute all on when I play just because I don't like to hear people talk nasty.
Yeah, absolutely
So
fine. This is good. Just covering.
yep, that's all I'm doing.
You can still
And
see
I always
now, right? You can still see the screen.
yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. I'll go ahead and turn this down. Turn this off. Okay, so if you're going to use your ability to leash, use it immediately.
Oh, okay.
Because then
okay.
your mana will regen.
Ah.
It's like
Okay.
even with Lucian, for example, you literally want to queue it. Like if you want to be fancy, you can auto queue, but you want to use your ability. If you're ever going to leash with an ability, use it immediately. Because then you get the max regen by the time you get to lane. Like
Makes
what
sense.
you've done there, for example, is probably lost you like
a few mana.
12, 15 mana by the time you get to lane.
Oh wow. It's crazy.
Okay, another thing, I'm just gonna send you this. Where is it?
Okay.
Where is this guy? Has he taken the video down? Anyway, I'll find it afterwards if I can't find it now.
Okay.
But he did this guy did a really good Ashe guide.
Oh, that'd be great.
And that would be useful. A common thing you can get people, catch people out with Ashe is with the penetration on the W. I'm sure you know this. But a lot of the time people will just mess it up and the first 3 minions will get low and then you can just W them, kill all 3 and get some poke on the enemies as well.
Yep. But on that one, I didn't see the enemy there, so I was just rushing the level 2 on that one.
No, that's absolutely fine. That's absolutely fine.
And then on this one, I let her give me a free poke because I knew I was going to get this wave in and then I could poke her.
Yeah. So
with a W?
Yeah.
Like right here? Boom, boom.
Yeah, that's alright. Okay, one thing to remember about the Ashe is Ashe level 1 is actually like disgustingly good.
Really? So I could keep going forward.
It's kind of absurd how good it is because what happens is with the runes that Ashe takes now with approach velocity.
Yep.
What you can do is you can auto them. I wish we did this coaching session like 2 weeks ago because I had this Ashe game where just the level 1 was just disgusting. But you can literally auto them, step back out of their range, and then when they start running, you can walk up and just auto them again because the movement speed allows you to do that, and you can literally chase them down, and then when they turn around, you can just turn around.
That's awesome.
You can literally get people to like half HP by doing this if they disrespect it.
Got it.
And because it's level 1, the enemies 99% of the time can't actually do anything to mess you up. You know?
Right.
There was an opportunity with the Nautilus, for example. Like you could auto Nautilus all the way back to like here, right here.
I see.
And then if you wanted to, once he's moving back, if Kai'Sa tries to walk in range, you just start autoing the Kai'Sa and she has to back off as well.
I see.
And because the lethal that's another thing, lethal tempo, this is why it's so insane, is you get the movement speed, you get the slow on them, and you get the lethal tempo, and lethal tempo level 1 is like by far the strongest rune in the game.
Oh,
because you get so many stats from it, and it gives you so much attack speed compared to them. Okay, so there's the level 2.
So we're gonna win level 2 here, and then I do.
So here, the right idea, but there's zero reason because your minions are going to be moving forward after you W not to walk up and auto her afterwards at least once. Because let's check this out. Boom. What you did is you clicked here and moved, but you could be here right now, and that's an auto. Already.
And click forward instead.
That's already an auto on her.
So I think they're trying to get level 2. Yeah. Okay.
So they've got level 2. So this is fine, right? But where you want to be, you're not getting anything out of standing here, and you win the trades by standing here because you can't get hooked, and your range is much better than Kai'Sa's range. And what that means is if she steps up to try and auto these minions, you're in range to attack her. Which gives you complete power in the lane. So there's a Nautilus auto, for example, there. Yep, this is fine. This is pretty good. Okay, so you definitely need to practice the kiting a little bit.
A lot of it.
Because that makes an absolutely huge difference on Ashe. Like cutting the time of the animation on Ashe is the difference between literally like at least I'd say on average 3 kills a game just by fixing that.
Wow.
Because how many times do people get like escape on a quarter health? Like, for example, when not in this situation, by the way, but I can tell this will happen to you. Sometimes you will literally miss 3 to 5 autos just from your bad auto spacing.
Yeah,
and it's 3 to 5 autos is like absurd, you know?
Right.
Like 3 to 5 autos is like is the same as like if you had 2 longswords and you did the same thing. So think about it like that, you know?
Right. Man, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so right now, you can shove this in, and then ward, for example. That's a good idea.
Yeah, but I was scared to shove it because I just didn't know where the jungler was. So now I'm gonna E.
Well, here the reality is you're safe behind your minions right now, and the thing that will make it obvious if the jungler's coming is the Nautilus will just start walking right into your wave like that, man.
Right.
And because it's like they can't do anything completely wild right now to kill you because you're not. It's not like you're here, you know, and Nautilus can just flash right on you.
Right.
So here you're safe to push it in. The wave is big enough, and Kai'Sa's low enough too. Like you're completely fine. Okay, there. So now warding is the option for sure. So we just saw someone die.
Yep.
Who was it?
And that's the reason why so here's my logic on me hitting my hawk shot going towards there was because there was a fight going on there, and I thought their jungler was going to be going to help out that area.
Yeah. And
so that's why I hit it towards there instead of hitting it towards their red, which I should have.
Yes. So that's the thing with Ashe, right? Is and I think this is probably something you don't do a lot, but a lot of lanes. A lot of lanes, E second is the best.
Wow.
Like, a lot of the time when you're definitely not going to be running someone down with your Q, you know?
Right.
Just take the E and get a 100% certainty on where the jungler is. Because the difference with when you're level 3 on Ashe and you get that E is based on the jungler's path, you could still technically get misinformation. Like, because you've waited long enough, even if the jungle started blue side, if they did a certain type of path, for example, if they went straight blue, red, and then Gromp, for example, right? And blue, red, and then to whatever. It could be anything. It could be blue, Gromp, red, and then down to do a gank, and then they don't get the gank, and then they go to Scuttle. You could technically, like, E the red buff, and it's like, oh, they're not there, right? But they are actually at the Scuttle. Whereas, if you're level 2... and you E one side of the jungle, that gives you a 100% certainty of where they are.
That they're going to be...
Because they're not at the Scuttle yet, because the Scuttle hasn't even spawned. So,
Gotcha.
If you really need to know where the jungler is, and you're not going to be fighting level 2, just skill up that E and get the certainty of where the jungler is.
Right. Okay, good to know. So I knew something was bad here, and I should have pinged my guy off.
Yeah. Because
Nautilus was just running towards me while... my support was going that way, so I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
And then for me, I should have just walked out and just let her to die. But here I go, try to save shit.
Yeah. So like something that's kind of advanced. Not that something I would actually recommend or like say that is a mistake by you, but you could actually kind of mess with the Nautilus here a little bit and try and bait him to kind of hook you around here. Because even if he does hook you, what happens is he hooks you, but the Kai'Sa's not close enough to kill you, and then Rel actually has a chance of escaping north. But that's advanced, as I said. It's just a little thing I'm just gonna say.
No, but that's a good thing for me to know. And here I try to see if
this is a huge mistake here.
This is where I walk back trying to see if I can get Kai'Sa, but nope.
Yeah,
I'm an
so
idiot.
It's like,
I didn't even know why I tried.
yeah, so I'm not going to talk too much about this because it's pretty obvious for you even, I think, but it's like... obviously,
what are you
doing? Like you take the still image...
Yeah.
And it's like, what is the plan here?
Right.
Realistically, what can you possibly do?
Yeah, my W wasn't even up, nothing.
And even if the W was up, what are you going to do? The max you can do is hit the W.
right. Nothing. Yep.
And then if you look, there's this lag period where you know that it's wrong, but you're still walking forward here.
Right.
Which is something that it just comes with precision of your clicks.
Right.
Which is something that you should be mindful of, as in just like know that it's a thing and try and actively just be clean with your clicks.
Yep. My clicks are very erratic.
Yeah, so the only thing I'd say with laning phase so far is you want to have some sort of urgency and purpose with your actions. And I'm not saying that you should like 5,000 IQ plan ahead the entire lane before it's happening. That's not the point. But my point is, in this situation, when this wave is going to be pushing in, and you're here and you have this large wave, right? You're kind of taking your time about things, but you're not actually. I'm confident that there's nothing like going on in your head about like what you were going to be doing that's useful right now. You're just kind of like hitting the minions. But what the ideal thing is, okay, this wave's pushing. I'm just gonna keep autoing and push it hard into the tower, and then I'm gonna go and ward. Because then you get something, right? Every time the reason why people care about lane priority, do you know what lane priority is? Yeah, so the reason why people care about lane priority is because they actually do something with the lane priority. It's a useless thing if you don't do anything with it. In fact, it can actually save your opponents. If you do nothing with lane priority, then all it means is your jungle can't gank your lane.
Yeah.
But if you do things with it, that's when it actually becomes useful, like going and getting a ward. And don't underestimate that. Like, if you push in the lane and then you go get a good ward and then you're not in danger of a gank, that's like a small win already.
Oh, absolutely. And the funny thing is I typically always do that. Like my friends always tell me once I push the wave in, you move, you recall to buy item, or you ward, or you deep ward. And I don't know why, but at this one, like when I started seeing Nautilus come in, that's when I started freaking out, and I need to just calm down and like, all right, like just yeah. Sometimes I take things a little too competitively, also though, in the sense that like I get so mad at myself.
Right.
So it's not necessarily good, because I guess that's when tilt comes in and whatnot,
Yes.
So this one, I was, I didn't want to push it in because we have no vision on the bottom right side.
Yeah.
But so I think I warded it yet. And I have no idea where the heck they are.
Okay, I'm just going to go back for a sec. I'm just going to write this down just for after. After the session is over, I'm just going to search real quick on my computer, see if I still have this replay of this Ashe level 1 clip, because I think I might have it.
Sure.
Okay, so here, right, this is slightly this is not something that you need to, like, kick yourself for if you're not implementing it. But I want to ask you, what do you see with this wave right now? What's your opinion on what's going on here?
It's pushing towards our tower, and they are going to have well, I could slow push this, I think, under my tower.
You mean you could let it slow push to you?
Yes, that's what I meant.
Yes.
And
Well,
then
yeah.
That's pretty much all I see on that one. So that's gonna give them prio to
Correct.
probably take out our wards or something. I'm not sure, or maybe set up a cheese.
What
That's
sort of
pretty
cheese
much
would they set up?
like they can go in the bush right there next to Rel, or in the middle bush, and they could try to hook it. But I have my E, so I'm not really too concerned about them.
Correct. What would be the advantage of this wave coming towards you?
That it's safer, that it's on our space, so our jungler can come and gank. Correct. If it's pushed up. What
do you notice, especially about this current situation, that might mean that being safe is useful to you?
That everything is happening in the mid, and there's no support for us down in our area.
Kind of correct, but the main thing by far is this: you don't have sums.
Oh, some, yeah. Okay,
I believe Rel doesn't have sums.
She doesn't.
Which
either.
Means if you're down here, and anything happens aggressive from the enemy team, you're probably dead.
Gotcha.
You're under big risk here. So right now, actually, although priority is a useful thing to have, the wave's coming into you. Might as well just last hit it and just keep it around here for as long as you possibly can.
Right.
Because this is your safe zone right now with your lack of sums.
Mm-hmm.
And their advantage in that's like gold advantage. And as you said, as long as you know that the bush cheese is possible, once you actually have to enter this area again, you can just eat it first.
Yeah, I E typically towards their tower, and it illuminates all of the areas there. Yeah. So, yep, I put one there just in case so I could see them coming in, but I see Nautilus is on the try. I don't know why she's going in. I think I ping her back or something. Because they have a wave advantage, and I'm not sure why she's...
Yeah, right. I mean, it definitely wasn't a great idea from her. So, but what I would say is, since you do have this ward, once this has happened, what's the threat to you right here? On this still screen.
Well, I don't know what's going on in the tri-bush, and then on top of that, I don't know... Well, I mean, they could literally just all in on us because they have minions on
I'm
their...
I'm not talking about your lane, I'm talking about you. Specifically you.
Oh, nothing. I should be kind of helping her out a little bit better.
Right, correct. So it's like, although this isn't a great position, and for example, if Echo shows up here, Rel will die.
Yep.
Right? Rel will die. But the reality is, if you look on the minimap, you will see him coming out of the tri-bush pretty far back, like right around here, is when you'll start to see him. The most important thing about this situation is that Nautilus has already used this hook.
Yep. So, oh, I see. So he can't hook me.
He can't hook you. Kai'Sa's used her Q already, and even if she W's you, it's like big whoop, right? Big deal. So after you've hit this W on Kai'Sa, there's no reason not to stay at max range. I'm not saying to walk in and start chasing her, but there's no reason not to stay at max range and hit her.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Because there's nothing like, see, this step back here doesn't achieve anything. It just loses you damage.
You're right. And I think the one thing too is like I was taking into account that my sums were down and like I have no escapes in case there was a gank coming in.
Yeah.
And so that's probably why I was playing a little scared. Yeah. But yeah, you're right. I should have. Damn.
So it's like what you can do is you can save your Rel's HP by answering back Kai'Sa's auto attacks here.
Right.
So this is fine. But here. I want to see you walk back, attack the Kai'Sa. And then what you'd see is, instead of her attack, you did it once, but she would have got one attack max. And even if she did what she did, and if she ignored you, she'd be here right now.
Yeah.
And that lane's actually looking pretty good.
Yeah, you're right.
Like, that's actually looking like a decent situation for you, given what just happened. If you did that. So cooldown awareness is huge.
Yeah, so now I know that Nautilus's hook is probably up by now.
It's up pretty soon. And something to remember with Nautilus is when he hooks the terrain, his hook goes on a shorter cooldown by a lot than if
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah. It always catches people out. I don't know if people do it in your elo really, but let's just say, just as a quick example, there's a Nautilus here, and there's a Kai'Sa here, and then on the red team there's Ashe here and I don't know, a Lulu here, right?
Sure.
What happens a lot is someone comes for a gank from the blue team. Nautilus, because he's not actually in range, he'll walk forward and he'll hook this. And then the enemy bot lane will be like, oh, he's used his hook. But then after like 5 seconds or something like crazy, his hook is back. Because he's hooked terrain. So that's something to keep in mind about Nautilus if he hooks terrain.
That's good to know. That's so good to know.
Yeah, and sometimes they don't even do it on purpose, right? A lot of the time, Nautilus will miss a hook and it'll hit the wall. And then the enemy player will be surprised about how fast it's up again.
So here I'm pinging her like, yo, get out the way.
Yeah. So your reaction was pretty fine here. I mean, here though, you're not fighting. You're standing still.
Yeah. And that's my problem. I don't know why, but like I start like, I don't know. I need to just kite. I just need to remember to kite. Calm down and kite.
Okay, so there you clicked the wrong person. If you look, you attacked Nautilus, not Kai'Sa. Here.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And that's a huge difference because Kai'Sa's slowed if you hit the auto. And obviously the W was suboptimal. Your W was with like the... You W'd as if the snapshot of where the champions were is where they were going to be when the W hits.
Okay.
And you need to be W'ing with thinking about where the champ's going to be. Not where the champion is. Because what you're doing is, if you look at when this W comes out, if I can pause it correctly, right? You are using half of your W is completely useless here.
Gotcha.
And these not bullets, whatever you want to call them, arrows could be here.
Right. You're right.
Okay, so here, right here.
Yep.
This is an example of something you probably wouldn't realize in game, or maybe even think now watching it. But this is a great position for you now the Kai'Sa's dead. And if you look, your champion's auto-attacking. And then you are moving a bit, by the way, which is good. But you're actually standing still for a while before you attack again. And given the movement speed that you get on Ashe, if you kited correctly in between these autos, you could be here right now.
I see.
And what you actually want to do is, if it ended up being possible, you literally want to kite him and run past him. Literally move as far forwards as you possibly can, because that gives him the least chance of escaping.
I see.
And you can just keep slowing him forever, because he has so long to run to get to safety, and you have no threat to you right now because of all the vision you have. You literally want to be attacking and moving, attacking and then moving, and literally slowly moving past him with your slows.
Gotcha. And I use attack, move on, click, and then I got minion blocked, I think, on that one.
Yep, you actually attacked a minion as well.
Yeah, I did. So I went right there. I did.
Yeah.
Do you do target champion lock?
Sometimes. I don't use it that much though. My clicking is pretty accurate.
I see. Okay.
But I do use it sometimes. I especially use it on Trist. When I'm sitting in a bush and someone comes in that minion wave, and I'm going to ambush them. What I use is I use it as a toggle.
Yeah, that's what I do too.
On my middle mouse.
I never use it.
Yeah, I use it on my middle mouse, and then I'll just click it, and then I'll jump in on them, and so I don't hit a minion.
Smart. The middle mouse, duh.
Yeah, middle mouse is pretty good as long as you don't have a mouse that scrolls easily, because then it's annoying because you'll zoom in.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
Side mouse is also really useful if you don't use it.
Yeah, I use side mouse for 1 and 2. That way, if I have to use like a Gale Force or some kind of QSS, I use the side mouse.
How are you with actives?
I'm okay with actives. I like playing a lot of Pyke support. and I use a lot of you know, Prowler's Claw and stuff like that. But as far as ADC wise, yeah, I think I'm okay with actives. It's just I rarely use Gale Force.
Yeah.
I got a free chunk from that turret there, like an idiot. But
That's alright.
yeah. So
okay, what I'm gonna do a bit of an unorthodox thing here.
Okay.
But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you kind of two paths you can take for your improvement with Ash specifically, and I'm gonna go into practice tool.
Yeah, please.
And do a quick little show of some Ash things that I think will be useful to you.
Yeah, definitely. That'd be great.
Alright. Tell me once I load in if you can see.
Yep, I see loading right now.
Okay, let me just check that I have Ash.
So you don't play much anymore, or what?
I play what I've pretty much done recently. Oh, I do have Ash. I did a recent climb to master. Like,
oh, nice.
I actually played a lot of Seraphine bot. Funnily enough.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay, I'm gonna cancel this. Put the correct runes because that actually is very important to my explanation for you. Alright, so Ash runes, we're gonna hit them with this, and you should switch to cut down if they have a lot of tanks, of course.
Oh, I did. I used cut down on that one.
Excellent. And then you want to go with this and this. Also, if in certain situations you can opt for the boots instead of the pots, but the pots are pretty damn good because it gives you that mana sustain for your W poke.
Gotcha.
Okay. So, Ash. But yeah, I would say when I can, I still play. What I noticed is my love for the game, as in ambition for going to my full potential, is not the same as it was before, because how do I explain it? To play at like the highest level, the dedication needs to be immense.
Right.
And my interests are, like, my main interests in life are slightly onto other things. So the investment is not worth it life-wise.
You know? I see.
Where the hell is kill dummies?
I didn't even know how you teleport, dude. I was like, whoa, how'd you teleport?
For me, it's Shift S, and then I click. But anyway.
Oh, okay. That's
so,
right.
With Ash, so for example, right now I'm going to show you how much you can actually move in between the autos if you utilize it fully. So, do you see what I'm saying?
Yep.
With
so you're not even using attack, move, click, right? You're just clicking it.
I'm A clicking actually.
Oh, A clicking.
So A clicking, but I could do it with right click or whatever. But so right here, what I want you to do is just picture that this is the Nautilus running away.
Right.
And compare this to what it looked like in your game. Like, you can see this guy is not getting. You're past him soon.
Yeah, I gotcha.
And I'll show you an example of the level 1 thing as well. One thing with Ash, when you're clearing waves, when you're trying to hard push the waves, what you want to do is you want to approach the wave
on the side,
and then get the W in a line when the wave is in a line. So you want to hit the max that you possibly can.
Yeah, that I knew. I've been trying to utilize. I think later on in the game I finally started doing that, but I think I don't know why I didn't take advantage of that in the early on.
Yeah, right. So I'm just gonna do a little show of the attack thing that you can do. So you can attack them and then move back, and then attack them again, and then if they start running, you can chase them down, and then they move around to attack you again. You move back, and then they move back. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, okay. So you're saying you attack, and then you move back, and then they're gonna move back, and then you move forward.
Yeah,
and
exactly, because you're so much faster than them, and you have a slow, so it actually ends up completely destroying them. Yeah. And what I would like you to do is to do drills before you play, every single time before you play. And the first level of them, I'd like to just be with no items. Go no items, it can be level 3, it can be anything. And I want you to just kite around and try and practice cancelling the attacks perfectly. So if you look, the more of the style of what you're doing is you're kind of attacking, and then maybe you're moving a bit, and then you're trying to do it again, right? But you can get much more movement in between the attacks. Like the key to this is with almost every AD carry, if you move too early, you won't end up autoing, right? Like this. So you can't move too early because you just won't even attack, right?
Gotcha.
But as soon as the projectile leaves the weapon, pretty much, generally, is the earliest you can cancel it. So and you'll get the feel for it. So look at when the arrow leaves and when I start moving, right? Like I'm already moving, right? You know about the Q auto attack reset, I'm guessing.
Q auto attack reset. You mean when the Q pops up?
Okay, so check this out. So this is what a lot of people do.
Okay.
Right, you saw that?
Yep.
Okay, and this is what you should do. I'm just gonna get the Q up again. Okay, so check this out. Did you notice?
Whoa, what the heck? You set that so fast, dude.
Yeah, so if you have your Q up, what you want to do is you don't want to immediately press it as soon as it's up. You want to auto attack and then Q right after. So boom, boom. You get 2 autos in the space of 1 auto, basically.
Holy moly.
Yeah. So you can see how that would increase your DPS a lot, right? Especially early games, hitting with the baboom.
That's crazy, dude. Okay, I did not know that.
So that's huge on Ashe. That's something that gives her a lot of the DPS.
Oh my god, that's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's a bit weird to get used to, but once you get used to it, it's huge. It'll make a really big difference. So what I want you to do is every time before you play, with no items at first, just practice kiting. You can practice kiting back and forth. Practice with your Q. And then practice what I was saying about just moving past someone. And when you do this, what you want to... the situations where you want to do that is in situations where they cannot kill you.
Right.
And all they're trying to do is escape.
I see.
All they're trying to do is escape, and all you're trying to do is make sure that they don't escape. And in that case, you want to close the maximum amount of distance possible with every single auto attack that you use, right? So do that, and then I would say do it with higher attack speed so you can actually be capable of it. So I'm going to say Runons and Berserker Greaves is the first level of this, and go to like level 11.
Sure.
And then once you're more comfortable with this, I want you to mix in the Q reset with this while you're doing it, right? So like this.
Holy moly, I see. I see the difference, man. That's ridiculous.
And of course you can do this with right click or whatever. You don't have to use A click like I do. Use whatever you're comfortable with using already. And then once you can do this like pretty flawlessly, which might be a while, like no shame in it, you know, it's something to learn.
Yeah.
Then go with like some wacky, ridiculous high attack speed, like you can go Kraken this and this, and like get your lethal tempo up.
Right.
And like just practice like that, you know.
I gotcha. Man, that's really good. Okay.
So that's like level 4, but the only thing that I want you to practice is first do it with no items, and do it with your lethal tempo, and then do it with Berserker Greaves and Runons, let's say.
Okay.
And every time before you go into the game, go back and do it level 1 again. Because if you practice with high attack speed, and then you go into game, it's going to feel really, really slow.
Super slow, yeah.
So every time after you practice the high, practice with the low again, get it perfect, and then go into game. Another thing with Ashe is you can W flash instead of
W
flash
first
W.
before flashing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know that?
Yep.
Okay.
That one I knew.
Yeah. So W flash is super useful.
I did. Also, you can W Gale Force so I was gonna ask you: is there even an opportunity for me to use Gale Force as Ashe, or is it always going to be basically?
I really think most cases Immortal Shield Bow is the go-to for Ashe.
No matter what.
Like not no matter what. Sometimes you can go for the Kraken, but Ashe like thrives when she can survive that little bit of burst. Because then what happens is if she survives the burst and she's kiting,
She'll life leech like crazy. Yeah.
She'll slow them so much that all the people that tried to go on you will end up dying because they've used their abilities. And then you can just chase them completely far away again, and you can kite away and they can't do anything, right?
I see.
So Shield Bow is just super good on Ashe. You can go Kraken in certain situations if you can afford to. But if they have anything that's going to burst you, just go for the Shield Bow.
The other question I had was, okay, I always get faced in this situation to where like I'm first pick before in champion select, and I know choosing Ashe necessarily isn't a good thing because then they could. Is that okay?
It's absolutely fine, especially because now the Shield Bow build makes her very versatile.
Okay, I see.
Ashe is actually one of the champs that I pick when they have burst champs. No.
Oh, burst champions. Okay, I gotcha.
Champions, yeah. All
right, cool. All right, so that's good to know.
Yeah.
Man, I have a long road ahead of me.
no, it's good. It's good. So the homework we'll call it, right. Every time your practice before you go into games should consist of kiting left to right. We'll call it, and then you'll do it with no items. Oh my god. No items, and then you'll do it with Berserker Greaves plus Runons plus being level 11. And then you'll go back to no items. And then you want to add in the Q reset. And then you want to do this with the Q reset. And then just practice chasing. And the way you practice chasing in practice tools is you put the dummies, I don't know why it tabbed me out there, but the way you practice chasing is you put the dummies in a line, and you kite one of them, and then you kite the other one after, right, like this. So that's how you practice chasing, and that just simulates that this is one champ walking away, if you know what I mean.
Right.
Okay. So that's what I like to practice. That'll make a really big difference to your Ashe gameplay overall. Once you're comfortable and you realize how much you can actually kite around and how insane she is at the kiting, that will like push you to the next level. From your laning phase, something that I would definitely say is important is I want you to just extra get it in your head about the W penetration.
Right.
That's how you're going to hit like most of your good W's in lane. Is going to be when you notice there's a minion getting low. So I'll give an example. Let's say your opponent is this one here, right? Your opponent's there. There's 2 high health minions here, right? And 1 low health minion here, and your opponent's here. You should see that this minion's getting low, move around this side, and then hit the W through that minion.
I see.
To them. So constantly be looking for those W's. Right, so the final thing I'm going to do is I'm going to give you these 2 paths, and both of them will work.
Okay.
Paths to improvement, mainly focused on Ashe. So the first one is more simple, but your goal is just going to be based on your CS per minute. And I'm guessing you have the Blitz thing in the top right of your screen.
Yeah.
For the CS, right?
Right.
And I would say put that to like Diamond.
Yeah, I think I have it to like Challenger, but
you can do Challenger, but if you're not hitting the Challenger frequently, put it to something that you can hit on 20% of your games currently you can hit it.
Right.
And then by the time you're hitting it in more than half your games, turn it up one. So
Okay.
path 1 is the main goal I want you to think about in the game. Obviously, consider all this stuff I've talked to you about, but have the confidence that will sink in over time and you'll get used to it. Do this practice.
Oh, that was another question I had real quick. Am I going to? I'm probably going to lose a lot, right?
Well, I mean,
is that I'm call me like I guess I'm oblivious to like. Is it normal to be like losing even? Like right now, I'm gaining like 20 something plus LP, and then should I not be concerned about that right now? Like, should I just
concerned about
what? Like winning versus losing.
You should just be concerned with playing better.
Okay.
And it'll come with it.
Okay.
It'll come with it. I mean, at the end of the day, the bottom line is if you're playing close to your skill level, the win or loss isn't reflective of your performance directly. It's indirectly affected. Well, it's directly affected, but it's not completely based on your performance, as you know.
I see what you're saying.
Sometimes you'll have a way better performance than a loss, and then you'll just get carried and get a win. But what the ideal thing is that you base your interpretation of that game on your performance, and base it on how well you achieved your goals of improvement. That's the success or the loss. Okay. So real quick, the 2 paths. One of them is going to be you're going to hard focus on getting 7 CS per minute every game. And then this is going to be like your focus, and you're going to try and... most people think when you say about a CS goal, the most important thing is like mid-game looking for minion waves. And that's important, but the main focus here is actually going to be last hitting correctly. I want you to put extra focus on last hitting these minions perfectly.
Okay.
Like, that's your measure of success in the laning phase. If you're 0-0, but you have 100 CS at 13 minutes, fantastic job.
Gotcha.
Right? This is path 1. And then once you reach this, we can talk about something else. We can talk about how to adapt to this, right? But once you hit this, you'll literally have so much more gold. You'll literally just be playing the game with like extra damage for free.
Okay.
Which is just obviously good. Path 2 is your initial focus is going to be on treating Ashe as a major lane bully early game.
Got it.
And now what your focus is going to be on punishing the enemy with auto attacks when they go to CS and using your range, because Ashe is insanely good at poking enemies down with auto attacks. Like right now, she's better than Caitlyn at doing that.
Gotcha.
Which means she's potentially the best champ in the game at doing that. Like Jhin can hold a candle to her, sure, but she's one of the best.
Okay, so you say Jhin can kind of mess her up a little bit.
Yep. I mean, not mess her up, but Jhin can trade back. I'll put it that way.
Okay, I see.
But you'll if you focus on this, you'll slowly realize more and more how many opportunities you have to hit the enemy and they can't even hit you back.
Wow.
And a lot of the time, sometimes they can hit you back, but they still won't because they're playing that gold or whatever, right? They're not that fast with it. And you're thinking of it in your head all the time, so you're prepared.
The lethal tempo. And then I have to just wait until the thing procs, right? And then wait for it until the cooldown is ready, then do it again.
Right. So, and these two will like these take a while, right? These will take a while to get, but whichever one you focus on first, the other one is the one you focus on second.